With summer coming to a very close end, I'm sure many of you guys need to rebuild that saving pot of yours. I, myself, am included. Because of this, I'm joined with Sammie Ellard-King, founder of Up the Gains, to discuss all of the tips and tricks you need to, one, rebuild your savings pot and start getting ready for the end of year festivities. Hello, Sammie, how are you?
Mate, I'm so happy to be back on.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you back on. When you said you were up for coming, I was like, yes, we've got Sammie back. How have you been?
Yeah, good. Busy.
I've heard. I'm so excited to hear all about it and what you've been up to. But for those listening that maybe haven't ever tuned into our previous episodes before, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I make finance content online, on websites, on short form video, long form video. We've got a podcast as well. But I'm an everyday person. And so my story is slightly different to perhaps others, where I've come from like quite deep in debt in my mid-20s to where I am now. And I share that journey because I felt like it needed to be shared.
Yeah.
And people have had those types of situations on all different levels and often don't know where to turn to, or perhaps can't relate to the people that they do need to turn to.
Yeah.
So I wanted to show that it was really possible to completely turn your life around. And so here I am today, and yeah, it's been a hell of a ride. I mean, I'd say it's funny because I used to run bars and restaurants.
Yeah.
And so I used to send people drunk home in an Uber, and now I fill up their bank account. It's a very different part of me, but it really does fill up my heart. Like, I love helping people and get to come and do cool stuff like this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thanks for having me on.
And yeah, the last, couple of years have just kind of catapulted up the gains, hasn't it? And
Yeah.
bit of a spoiler alert, but we will chat about it towards the end of the episode. But obviously now you're building an app, which is just insane. Like, do you ever think like, gosh, if I didn't actually just post that one video or didn't start the podcast, I wouldn't be sat here today?
Yeah, literally, like, all the time. And I have to remind myself of like where we've come from.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it was that like believing in yourself moment where I could have just gone, actually, no, I'm never going to press publish.
Yeah.
And my first video was horrendous.
As was mine.
It's since been deleted. It will never see the light of day ever again. But I've left a lot of it on there to show just myself, even just to hold myself accountable. Because occasionally I'll scroll back to the beginning and I'm like, wow, like we have come so far. And it's amazing to see that. And I think it stems over into all walks of your life. Like, if you believe in yourself, and often fear is the most powerful thing, because if you can harness it, then you can really change your life just by putting one foot in front of the other. And just not giving up. A lot of it is reps, and it's exactly the same with anything you do in life. But I'm sure we're going to talk about some of the things that we can do today around sort of making some money.
Yes.
And again, it's about reps and just being a little bit smart and just pushing yourself a touch.
Yeah, I agree. And obviously, like you mentioned, you've been on this journey, you've been in debt, you've been in a different career, you're now sat here doing pretty all right for yourself, if I can say that on the podcast. And so I guess one of my very first quick fire questions for you to warm you in the hot seat today is, what's one piece of advice you'd tell your younger self?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go back to that, like, believe in yourself thing, because it, you know, that's always been sort of part. Luckily for me, I've always been the one that's out there starting businesses, and a lot of stuff online tells you, like, you must start a side hustle, you must start a business. You don't have to. Obviously, there's good ways of doing that, and we're going to run through some of them today. But I think if I didn't believe in myself, in my 9 to 5, in my relationships, and if I didn't show up like that, believing that everything is going to be all right, if I put myself like forward and go for it, then I feel like that's what I'd always tell myself, because sometimes you can get locked away in your own head, and it gets you so like, you know, caught up in your own mind, and you don't actually end up making a decision. You get that analysis paralysis. So I just think if I could tell myself one bit of advice, like always take the risk, always trust your gut. Because eventually, even if it doesn't pay off, you will learn something. And I've had multiple businesses and multiple side hustles which have failed like badly, where I've lost money, but I learned something from them that I took into the next one. And so the next one potentially might not have failed, or it might have failed again, but I learned something again, and then the next one takes off. So it's about just constantly believing in yourself. And I would tell myself that.
I agree, because I always often say to myself, I'm really grateful for 22-year-old Ola that posted that Instagram post, even though it took me 4 hours to post it in lockdown. Like, my friend was like, if you don't post that video, I'm going to come down and do it for you. And so it is about sometimes stepping out in faith, and having messy action, because both of us are here now doing okay, but at the beginning we never thought, you know, all the ups and downs that would have taken, or all the wrong editing, or the times your like video didn't upload, or the one time you got one like, you never thought it would lead you to this point, right? No. And so I think, yeah, like you mentioned, it's just about just trusting your gut and just taking that leap. I love that.
Yeah, I think it's important in all walks of life.
Yeah, I love that. And I guess, you know, another good question that I really wanted to find out about you today, Sammie, is what's one guilty pleasure you like to spend your money on?
Oh, I could say it. I got two.
Go on.
So I absolutely love anything Carhartt. If they send me an email with a sale on there,
really?
I'm on the website trawling it up and down. It's just something that I'm like, I can't, like, I'm just addicted to Carhartt.
I love that.
And I'm totally fine with it. I've made my peace with it.
Yeah.
I've made space in my budget so I can buy Carhartt, and I'm good with it, all right? So like, don't come at me with the, like, you're overspending things, because I've made the space. And my other half knows as well. She's like, another one? I'm like, oh, sorry.
It's on sale.
Yeah, and farm shop food.
Okay, farm shop food.
Yeah, so I love, like, I'm big on my health now. I've sort of taken a big turn. I used to be big on my health, and then went like completely the other way, and ballooned a bit. And so I got really focused on food, but food has been a massive part. I've got a big family. We all love coming together and cooking. And so it's always been like a, you know, treat yourself kind of thing. And I always just love popping in the farm shop, and I end up coming out with more than I should and spending more than I should. But again, it's
to be fair, the farm shop, I don't know what it is about the layout of a farm shop. Maybe it's the smells, maybe it's the fact that things are packaged differently, that you can spend way more there than you would in like Lidl or Tesco's.
Yeah, but you go and you go up to the counter, and they're like, anything else? And you go,
oh, go on then.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah, that organic chocolate there, or, you know, those, I don't know, there's just so much in a farm shop.
Yeah, literally, like, my sucker is for, like, I get really good meats. So I just love going, like, in the weekend, Saturday morning, get up, we go in there. The one near us has got a really good cafe as well. So we sit down and have, like, a little bit of breakfast. And then we, like, grab a bit of steak. And we come home, me and my other half, like, have a nice evening, cooking a bit of food, watching a bit of telly. And that's kind of our thing. Yeah. Whereas before, when I used to live in London, it would be like, who's out, who's drinking. And it's just a bit of a lifestyle switch.
100%.
So it's just flipping that on his head. You know, I live out in the country now, so for me, it's just like, that's my little vice.
Yeah,
you know, I don't spend my money elsewhere. So good food is really important to me.
Yeah, and my PT would agree with that. So I agree. I'm gonna lean on your side when it comes to the farm shop.
Okay, good.
So obviously, as we all know, it's really important that we start looking at rebuilding our savings pots, because I don't know about you, Sammie, but my summer, I think all my summers, I enjoy myself, right? I'll hold my hands up.
You've been away.
I've been away. I always go away, to be fair.
I keep seeing the stories. I'm like, whoa.
All right. Yeah. Gosh, you're airing me out now. You're getting me out there. Yeah, I mean, I have been away. And I've enjoyed myself, and I've had budgets, etc. And look, have those budgets been kept? Probably not to the best of my ability. Can I look at rebuilding my savings pot? Absolutely, especially as we go into September. Yeah. So I think it's really important that we actually look at, one, rebuilding these pots, like I mentioned in the intro, and two, how we can actually make extra cash. So why do you think it's really important that we actually have multiple streams of income?
Yeah, because, like, relying on one is just, you don't know what's going to happen. You know, it's happened to me, and so I speak about this from personal experience. I have walked in thinking everything is totally cool, and my boss has completely outsourced the entire department, me and my entire team. So it's marketing, sales, and HR out to an agency. Obviously, because they got it for a cheaper package, and just like that, 10 of us, bang, see you later. And we hadn't done anything wrong. It's just a cost-cutting exercise because they're getting pressure from X, Y, and Z, and those are things that are so out of your control. And if you do get put in that situation, and you have dwindled down your summer savings pots, or tucked into your emergency fund because you wanted to get the flights, or whatever that might all be, we've all done it, okay? And, like, don't beat yourself up about it. But what else have you got if that happens to you? And just asking yourself those questions. And a lot of time, people are okay with that and they feel pretty secure. But for me, I just don't like to rely on those situations. Yeah. So I think multiple streams of income are important, and you can do them a lot easier than you think. And I think a lot of people think that they have to go and start the 10 grand a month YouTube.
Yes.
Look at the top 10 5-side hustles that are doing 10 grand.
Yeah.
And it really annoys me, because actually there's some brilliant ones where you can earn 40 quid here,
Yeah.
20 quid there, and it takes you less than a minute. So like these are things, it depends on who you are as an individual, but just having little pots of income coming in, and when that income comes in, don't lifestyle inflate, move it into pots, savings or investments or whatever you want to do with it that's going to have an impact on your life.
Yeah, I love that, and I agree because, like we mentioned, some of our savings pots have probably dwindled a little bit, and so also you don't want to then start putting stress on yourself going into September, being like, okay, now I need to try and get as much as I can from my one paycheck, because we all know we're already probably on our bare bones budget. So it's about how can we actually make extra cash? How can we diversify our streams of income? And obviously, Sammie, I know you've done multiple side hustles in the past. I'm keen to know what different side hustles have you firstly actually done?
Oh, honestly, mate, you name it, we've done it. We've tried it because we write about them.
Yes.
And we tell people how hard they are to do and what it requires to be done. And to actually make some money, we've needed to go and actually test it.
Yeah.
So we've done it. And so it really does come down to like who you are as a person and how much time you have. Because if you're listening to this and you've got 2 young kids and, you know, they're not sleeping well, and you've got a stressful job and you commute to work, and like all of a sudden your time actually to yourself is really small. So I think first off, like how much time have you got to be able to put towards something?
Yeah.
And then what type of thing are you really like leaning towards? And that's where you need to like evaluate first before you even think about what there is, because there are some little quick fixes and hacks that you can do, and a couple of little quick ways to make money, which I'm sure we're going to go through today. But that's the way that you attack it, is how much time can I put in, and you know, what am I willing to try? Because as I said before, you might try it and it might fall flat on its face, and that's totally fine. You should definitely take that as a learning. And there are some things as well that require a little bit of capital to get started, or you investing some money to make some money back. There are some side hustles which you can do sitting on the couch with a laptop open and Netflix on. You don't even have to move. Literally just pressing a...
Me at uni.
Right, exactly. Online surveys, all of these types of things can be done. So we've tried them all. It really does depend on you as an individual. Do you want to get out there and get your hands dirty and like put in some extra graft with your hands, or do you want to do it online? These are questions you have to ask yourself before you jump in. But yeah, we've tried the lot.
I agree. And look, I think as well, when it comes to making extra cash, I feel like people often just think, oh, Ola, you're telling me now to set up my own business. I need to now be a limited company, yada, yada, yada. And that is not the case. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation with yourself, because you have done multiple side hustles as well. Because you don't actually have to have a business to make extra cash. So, Sammie, what are some extra ways people can actually make some extra cash without having, I guess, a quote-unquote business?
Great question. So for me, there's 2 different distinguishers from side hustles and side hustle businesses as a first off. Like JVSOP, he's a brilliant person to follow for this, because he actually highlights like one-off little side hustles. Like he had the Notting Hill Carnival one recently, where he was like, you buy a Polaroid camera, or if you own a Polaroid camera and you turn up to Notting Hill Carnival, you charge £5. That's a side hustle.
Yes.
A side hustle business is then you turn that into a, you know, an online e-commerce store that then selling pictures and like that you run in the side, and that's a side hustle business. Is distinguished between the 2. But there are simple, easy fixes that you can do like right now, and one of them is like current account switching.
Yes.
It's like the easiest money you'll ever do in the book. You're literally applying for a new bank that offers you money for doing it. You can get up to £220 right now, which is incredible before Christmas. Like that's a lot of Christmas presents covered. The current account switching service handle everything for you. They push the money over, all your direct debits, everything gets handled, and then you just pop a bit of money in there and the bank pays you. Yeah. Obviously, there's different terms and conditions for each one, but a simple Google will bring up the best ones of Martin Lewis. Yes. Always has the best ones listed, and it's 5 minutes.
Literally 5 minutes.
Yeah. And that's like the lowest level for actually like super high returns, because if you work that out on an hourly rate, like,
you're laughing.
That's a lot of money, right? Exactly. And the other one is like, for me, which I'm sure we'll get onto later today, is like, I call it a side hustle in a way, because it's actually taking back some of the money that you're already spending. So utilizing cashback apps.
100%.
Just an elite way of like just taking back some of the percentage money that you can have. And it's actually, you know, we've done a bit of research, which I'm sure we'll get onto later, but, you know, the average person earning the average salary can save over £1,000 a year just by putting this one step into their payment. So these are super low level things that you can bring in.
And I guess, what does cashback look like for those who probably have never heard of cashback before, and how does it work?
Great question. It can be done in a couple of different ways. So you have your like online cashback providers like Top Cashback and Quidco. So basically with Top Cashback and Quidco, you would log in, you would get a link for Nike's website.
Yes.
Let's say we're buying some fresh new trainers
And
today.
new trainers are going to be snuck in by you at one point.
You know me. It's one of my biggest side hustles that I love is trainer reselling.
Yeah.
So and I've still been doing that till very recently. I absolutely love it. But I'm sure I want to touch on that one because it's a fun one. But yeah, so you log in, you get the link to Nike's website, and it may give you 8% discount on your purchase or 10% discount on your purchase. You can actually layer that up with something like Honey as well, and use the Welcome 10 or something along those lines as well, which is a web browser which you can install, which is brilliant. So then you're getting money off the purchase you were going to make anyway.
Yes.
And a really good hack with that is either you can let it build up and you can withdraw it and use it for something like Christmas, or, you know, if you use it in Christmas, use it to supplement January when life sucks. Or some people like to periodically take it out every single month and pop it in a savings account and earn interest on that as well. So there's some great ways there. Another way is through instant gift cards. So when you're going to, again, make that purchase either online or in store, something which I've been doing a lot recently is like I go to the self checkout with my shopping, and it comes to £52.40 or whatever, because, you know, I always spend too much on stuff that I shouldn't, but hey ho.
Farm shop.
Yeah, usually it's like, oh yeah, it's not it, we'll get it. But hey, that's the most easiest thing. Just instead of just clicking Apple Pay or getting your card and touching on the thing, you open up an app, and within 15 seconds you've bought a gift card for the exact amount, and you've got 5% off your shopping.
Yes.
And if you stack that throughout the year and that just becomes a part of your habit, it saves you so much money. So that's just a really, really easy way. And then there's some other little more low lift side hustles that we can run through if you want as well.
Go on, please.
Cool. All right. So if you like it, or if you like sitting on the sofa doing absolutely nothing, a great one is online surveys. They're just so quick, so easy. A simple Google of the top places for online surveys. People always ask me, how do I find them? Google. It's
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, exactly. You hit the nail on the head. Little bit of AI, little bit of Google will bring up the top sites. You sign up. You're not going to get paid a fortune, but it's good for commutes. It's good for sitting on the sofa watching Netflix, because you're answering often multiple choice questions. Super low thought, low impact, low level. You're not going to earn much, something 2 to 5 to sometimes 10 quid for a survey, depending on the length. But again, that's going to start totting up. So putting your downtime to use, especially if you need the money, is a good way. A brilliant one is online focus groups, or in-person focus groups as well. You can get paid up to £100, I've seen before. I've been paid like 85 for jumping on a Zoom for 90 minutes.
Bad, is it?
Sometimes they send you the products, so it's quite good fun. You like test them out before and you give live feedback. So again, they can be really good fun. And in-person ones as well. Again, you go in, sometimes they like blindfold test you and things like that. It's really good fun if you've got some time spare in the evening and things like that, because that's when they often are.
Yeah.
And so, those are really good ways of making money online. And that's just you low level getting some money in the bank.
Yeah.
You don't have to overthink it. There are so many little jobs out there you can do. Another one as well, if you've got a really good skill, so that can be anything from admin management to graphic design, video editing, whatever that might well be. There's sites like Upwork and Fiverr where you can register and you can build yourself a little profile. Maybe it's what you do in your day job and you start doing some evening work. When I was deep in debt, that's what I did. I started doing social media for little businesses all around the UK.
Wow.
I did a carpentry workshop. I did a website design business. I did all these things because these guys, they don't know how to do it themselves.
Yes.
Like they're good at making stuff, or they're good at, but they're not good at X, Y, and Z type jobs. So they hire other people. And Fiverr, you can get paid for your time, so hourly work, or you can agree a contract rate. And as you build up a little portfolio, you can start charging more. So again, it's like putting your time to work and just sort of evaluating, okay, I can give it 6 hours a week, 2 hours a week, and those things are going to be very constrained around what you can and can't do. So there's a low level stuff, the stuff that everyone should be doing, which is current account switching.
Yeah.
Especially if you need a bit of extra cash before Christmas, and there's stuff that requires a little bit more effort.
Yeah. I love all of those ideas, and like you mentioned, I have also tried them out myself. And bank switching, I think it's crazy that to this day people are still so loyal with their banks. Like,
Yeah.
literally for 5 minutes work, like you mentioned, you can get £200 for just switching your bank account, and you don't have to do any of the work because the current account switch service does it all for you. So if you haven't, guys, switched a bank account ever, or maybe you think you need that extra cash to post summer, and you maybe need that cash, you definitely need to maybe look at doing that. I actually think I'm definitely overdue that, especially on some flights for some
100%.
friends' weddings next year. So
Oh,
I need I need the extra cash to go into my savings pot. And then, like you mentioned, you've also got the cash back. So I was actually with my cousin the other day. She's just bought her first car. She's purchased car insurance. I was like, wait, before you buy that car insurance, go for your top cash back. And she got £50 back into her account just from using cash back. So again, when we talk about side hustles, we're not talking about side hustles that replace your income, but it's just extra cash that we can get from here and there that can rebuild that savings pot that myself included need to, I guess, take advantage of. Because yeah, the £50 here, the £40 there. I know a friend that did a focus group, got £500.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot.
A lot. It was a 2-day focus group, but still,
It's great
£500.
money. Yeah.
You're laughing. I've also
100%.
got a new one.
Have you?
So I joined a casting agency.
Oh, cool. What, extras? Oh, sick.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
I
I've
love
actually
that.
got my first shift of being an extra this weekend.
No,
Yeah.
oh, wicked. Do
And
you know what it's for? Or is it like...
It's for a film. It's for Apple
Oh,
TV.
oh,
It's an
cool.
Apple TV series. And you know what? It's funny because I saw a girl talk about it on TikTok, and I was like, you know what?
Give it a go.
I'm going to give it a go.
Yeah.
I actually don't know how much they're paying me. I think it's like standard rates, which I don't know what the standard rates of being an extra
£200.
is. But I think it's like £200
Yeah.
for like 10 hours work, which
Amazing.
is quite, I mean, hourly rate is quite low. But I was like, you know what? It's an experience. I'm free this Saturday. Why not give it a go?
You don't know who you're going to meet.
Yes.
Imagine how many film stars have been found like that.
True.
You never know. They might just be like, I like you.
Yeah.
You're coming back. Actually, I've got a shoot next week. Are you free?
Yeah.
And then you're away, right? It's contacts.
This is it. And I'm going to be a train driver assistant.
Are you? Oh, I love it. Brilliant.
So I think it's just about thinking outside the box. And because, like I mentioned, one, I love to travel, as all of you guys know on the podcast. And secondly, I've got a few friends that are getting married abroad next year. So £200, that pays for my accommodation from one of my friends' weddings already. So it's things like that. It's about, you know, allocating the extra cash that we're making, especially with Christmas coming up as well. I hate using the C word when it's September, but when it's Christmas, you need to bear that in mind as well. So I think that's really important to just, step out the box. Would you agree?
Oh, God, yeah, literally. And it depends, like, you know, if you're feeling flush right now, you don't need it.
Yeah.
Like, cool. But actually, for me, that's usually the time where I'm like, that's time to double down.
Yes.
Because if this does kick off, or, you know, my Fiverr profile starts bringing in loads of work and I'm really happy with it, I've now got like way more money than I think I should. And that's that overflow. I know a good friend of ours loves talking about that in our Champagne Tower method. Anna Brading. She's brilliant. But the thing is, like, that overflow then provides you options in other areas. So I always feel like, you know, just keep your ear to the ground, just keep things pushing out, get yourself on some mailing lists for some of these companies, the casting agents, the website testing, the we didn't even speak about that one, you know, the focus groups. It comes in, I'm free. Well,
why not?
Why not?
Literally, why not?
Exactly.
So-
Because that 150 quid, you might be like, actually, I'm going to treat my other half to something.
Yeah.
You're winning brownie points in your life now. You know, there's so many benefits to having a bit of extra cash on the side in today's day and age.
I agree. And I guess obviously beyond the side hustle cash, there's obviously other ways of actually diversifying our income streams, and one of them is obviously investing. And you talk about investing quite a lot and very well on your page. So I guess, you know, there's probably people here that have enjoyed summer now, so they don't have the excuse of being like, I'm too outside to put £10 into my investments. How can people start finally investing if they set that goal back in January, haven't started yet, but now actually maybe want to do that instead?
Yeah. So obviously this is a big question, but there is a lot you can do that requires a lot of little effort to get started. Like, it doesn't require a lot of effort to get started investing, and it really comes down to being able to open a stocks and shares ISA. Can you open a bank account? Yes, you can open a stocks and shares ISA then, and it doesn't need to be as more complicated than that. It's exactly the same way. You can put up to £20,000 a year into your stocks and shares ISA, which is amazing. And if you're just getting started, than a simple index fund, which is essentially a list of companies from different regions around the world, or you can have a global one, which is the one that I like to speak about a lot in my content, which is basically the world's best businesses.
Yeah.
So you're letting other really smart people do
all
all of the work for you, and you can make some money off of it. And look, it's going to take time with investing. You shouldn't see it as a 5-year thing. You should see it as a 10, 20, 15, ideally 25 years plus kind of event for you. But people don't understand the power of just £5 going in there for a long time.
Yeah.
And they think it's never going to make a difference. Honestly, the best way to see the outcome, Google compound interest calculator, open one up, have a play around with the figures that you can afford, because there's a lot of stuff online and I totally understand it. And that's why I try and do as little of this as possible, which is like, you know, put £500 in or put £300 in, and then the people that only can afford 10 or 20 or £50, they're like, well, what about me?
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, it's still about you. It's
100%.
just a different way of looking at it. So for me, absolutely everyone on the planet should be investing, and you shouldn't see it as saving or investing. You should see them in tandem together.
Yes.
And you have your short-term savings goals, which are important. They come around every single year. Christmas, car insurance, your nan's birthday,
Literally.
whatever that might well be. You know you're going to be doing them. Maybe a holiday in there as well. So save for them so they're not big shocks when they happen to come around, or use your side hustles or your cash back to supplement some of those life events. And then making sure you've got some money being whittled away into your investments, even if it's a tenner. If it's 500 quid, fantastic. But that's going to make a massive difference to later you.
Yes.
So you've got me now, I exist, this is going to be happening to me, and you've got future me, which is going to need some money.
Yeah.
So why don't we feed that pot? And it really doesn't need to be overly simple than that. So Google compound interest calculator, Google index funds, or jump on, our sites and look up little resources that we have. There's a bunch of free stuff out there. You can bring yourself up to speed. Most people think they need to literally have a degree to get into investing.
Literally, and you don't.
You need 90 minutes and consistency. It's literally it.
Yeah, I agree.
And you can make a real difference to your life.
Yeah, and I think what is also really interesting about investing, which not many people often touch on, is the fact that the way, yes, you can get capital gains, which we always talk about, up the gains, capital gains. And I guess another way where we have this extra stream of income is through dividends that get paid out. And guys, if you aren't aware of what dividends are, that is essentially a payout to you as a shareholder in a certain share, stock or index fund, and that can either go into your back pocket or can be reinvested. And now I always find it really funny because I don't really check my investments very often. I just know it's just a direct debit and it comes out. But it's always funny when I get an email being like, oh, you've got a secure message on your lifetime ISA. So I'm like, okay, what's this? Might be in Bali at the time, you never know. And I'm like, oh, I just received £200 as a dividend, and there's me just chilling on the beach.
Yeah.
So again, even the low lifting stuff when it comes to, like, you know, doing your cash back or you're doing your surveys, having an investment that is paying you dividends either on a monthly, quarterly or yearly basis, you're laughing.
It's absolute winner hack.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story the other day as well, because we open all of the investment accounts to test them out, and sometimes I just end up leaving like 30 quid in there because I forgot it was there. But I got an email from Free Trade, who's a provider. Not financial advice. Please don't think that I'm saying that they're any good or not. But they said, oh, you've got a dividend of 1p. And I was like, get in. And it just made me laugh.
Zero.
Yeah, no, just cracked me up. But you're totally right. But it really does make a big difference. And you are right. Like, you can have it auto reinvested, or you can have it come back into your pocket. And I tend to say to people when they look at these funds, because they're like, what's accumulation or what's income, when they look at exactly the same index. And it can be a bit overwhelming. That can be something, again, that stops people. And it really is, one gets reinvested, one gets paid out, and you have to make a decision what to do with that money, either withdraw it or invest it back yourself. So it doesn't have to be overly complicated, but it's a really nice payment. People tend to err towards accumulation while they're building up, and then when they've got a significant pot, switching it to a more dividend focused angle is a good thing, because then you get that payout, which will probably make a bit more of a difference to your life. Like if you see my 1p, you're like, oh well.
Yeah, versus my £200.
Versus your £200, which is like, pays for my accommodation, whatever. So then there's a bigger difference there. But obviously the more you can accumulate, the bigger those payments are going to be later down the line. So that's what I always tend to say to people.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it just comes down to your mindset, isn't it? I think you just have to be open-minded that these things are possible. And look, me and Sammie are two normal people that just love to just, I guess, experiment when it comes to making money. And I always say on the podcast that we all work so hard for, like, you know, our 9-to-5 salary, but there's so much more beyond that when it comes to like earning potential. And I guess coming back to you, Sammie, you've obviously mentioned that you've done your own personal side hustles, because I want to know more about what else you've got up to as well, just to give more inspiration to people listening.
Yeah. So one of my favourite ones that I did for years, and it's still around and it still works, is trainer reselling.
Yeah.
So what I used to do is basically, even when a pair like this, for example, comes online, which are these are Nike Air Jordans, they will get sold originally on Nike.com.
Yes.
Before they go anywhere else. Sometimes they do get like with end clothing or a shoe or something like that on an exclusive, but even then it's still accessible. So they're sold for a retail price. Usually a shoe like this goes for like £100, but then if it's a rarer or a more exclusive version, within days, sometimes hours, it sells out. And then guess where it goes? It goes online, your StockX's, your eBay's, those types of places. And usually it can be double or sometimes triple or sometimes even 10x the price.
Crazy.
And so if you're smart, you can keep your finger on the dial with this. Again, it's forums. There's apps out there like Heat Movement, which you can download, and it tells you when all the drops are, how rare they are, and you can turn alarms on for the day it comes out. So you're literally there 9 a.m, it drops, and you're quick, and you get in there and you get the right sizes. Little hack, 9s and 10s are the sizes to get, because they're the ones that fly out first. Yeah. That's what everyone, most people's shoe sizes are for men anyway. So getting in there early is key. And then you have to receive it, then you have to send it off to be verified by eBay or StockX. And then once it's verified, then you can sell it on. And so it's a really, really cool hack. And I think my best month, I got a pair of Travis Scotts, and they went for like £800 profit.
Wow.
So it can be significant income.
Profit.
Yes, and I will say I have kept a few as well. So it's
you sound like my sister. You sound like my sister.
It can be like that. You're like, these are too beautiful. You're staying with me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like most of the time, it's 150 quid.
Yeah.
But it does require a little bit of lifting. And this is a side hustle, right? This is me. I'm buying them at retail. I'm flipping them on because I know that they're going to be a rare shoe.
Yeah.
And again, there is risks there because you can make the wrong decision. You buy the shoe, it doesn't really go anywhere. And then sometimes I've had to sell shoes where I've taken 20, 30, 40 pound losses because I couldn't shift them because I bought the wrong shoe.
Yeah.
So there is risk, but then, there's also potential big upside. And so again, you're getting into a little bit more of the business mindset.
Yes.
So I love that one. And I think it's such a cool thing which people can do. People do it a lot now with, like retail arbitrage, when they will pick up really amazing things in outlets and they'll flip them back on eBay or in other areas where they can get a bit of extra money. Another great one which I used to do was little car boots. I used to pick up like a few little bits and bobs on there and then flip them online, because I don't know if you've, like, a great person for this is Gary V. He's just amazing. He just turns up at people's house garage sales and he just takes stuff, but he'll look on eBay and a few sites while they're there, and he'll buy something for 40p and then sells it for 12 quid, and then he'll do that again and again and again and again.
That is wild.
And he makes really incredible money just by being a little bit smart. On a Saturday, drives around, picks up a few bits and bobs. And we've done it with so many things: lights, lampshades, rugs, all these different types of things.
That as a side hustle alongside my casting.
It is dangerous though, because you do end up keeping stuff. But the thing is, if you're in that mindset, I need to do something. I've got to earn some more cash this weekend. I need to get X, Y, and Z amount of money before this amount of time. Yeah. Then there is the opportunities out there.
And it reminds me, to be fair, even just the basic of reselling your own things online. I mean, I used to sell every little thing that I could find at home during my sixth form days, and I used to make like £150, £200 a month, and that used to pay my car insurance, because my car insurance at the time was so expensive. So I think sometimes you just have to think, okay, cash versus your time, and what are you willing to sacrifice some of your time to make that extra cash? And I'm sure many of us, after the summers we've had, would be willing to do that. So I think 100%. It's really important. But I guess a question for you, Sammie, that I have is, when we start actually accruing some of the extra cash we're making through our side hustles, what are some tax considerations we need to bear in mind?
Yeah, so in all honesty, it changes a lot, but you have basically a trading allowance which you can use. And as long as you don't go over that, you're okay. And the good thing is about this as well, it's on your profits. So a lot of people think that when I bought that on Vintage and I sell it on, that counts. It's not, because you've already paid the higher price for it. So it's on your profits. So you have to put that into consideration. Now, I am honestly not the best person to speak to about this. And I probably maybe have gone over a touch every now and then. But, that's a question for another day. But the thing is for you, once you've put that in, once you've got that money in, if you're earning a significant amount of money from it, and we're talking, a few £100, start to preempt this.
Yes.
Start to look online. Okay, am I near the thresholds for me and my income brackets? Is this going to have an effect on me? Am I in a limited company, or have I set up a sole trader, or have I not done any of these things? Do I need to consider them? And those are the things. And if you really get stuck, speak to an accountant and they will tell you. You probably need to submit a self-assessment and pay some tax.
Yeah. The dreaded 3 letters.
Yeah. And look, I've been there. I've done it, and I've overshot myself, and I haven't thought about it. And then you're like, and then you speak to an accountant, and they're like, you do actually owe a few £100 in tax.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn it, and you kick yourself. So I would just say, as soon as you start earning a little bit of money, just start to think, okay, well, I'm earning a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Probably going to have to pay someone some of it at some point, because it ain't just a free ride, unfortunately, in this country.
Not in the UK.
But there are some fantastic resources online for this stuff.
No, thank you very much for sharing. And I guess, to run up today's podcast episode, do you have any final top tips for those looking to reset their finances post-summer?
Yeah, I do. So one of the biggest hacks for me is about separating your money.
Yeah.
So a lot of us will get paid into one bank account, and then all of a sudden, we're sending bills money out to this person. We're paying back that person, putting a bit in our savings account, and we don't always account for the bill that comes out on the 10th and the bill that comes out on the 16th, and the fact that we've got to buy flights and we forgot, and we said that we do it with the mates on the 17th or whatever that might well be. So what you can do is something called the 3-bank system, and just split up your money, and it just gives every pound that you earn a job, especially as you're coming into the back end of summer. So it's really simple. Bank number 1 you get paid into. Bank number 3 is your savings account, and this should be with a different provider. So immediately your money comes into you, you get paid, you send some of your savings over to bank number 3. It could be 20 quid, 50 quid, 500 quid, doesn't matter. And then bank number 2 is for all of your bills and fixed expenses. And that money gets sent over after you've sent your savings, because you have to pay yourself first, because you are more important than your bills. Facts. But your bills need to be paid. I always get that in the comments. How dare you say you can't pay your bills first? I'm like, your bills still need to be paid. You just need to plan them. Chill, guys.
Yeah, don't want any arrears. Don't want any arrears.
Yeah, please, we don't want you to get into debt. But you do paying yourself first, even if it's £5 that you put into your savings account. It's just a mindset shift. And then the money that's left in bank number 1 is yours. And that money you can use to live your life and have fun with, and spend without feeling weird about it. And again, what I like to do is, let's say I have £1,000 left at the end of the month. To keep it simple. Might be less for you, might be more. Happy days. But then, £250 a week.
Yes.
Okay, I can probably control myself a little bit more. And it's just that piece of awareness, because a lot of us don't like budgeting. A lot of us don't like having to put time into our money. But just automating a large part of it like that is such a great way to get yourself back on track, especially after a busy summer.
Yeah, I agree. And that's definitely something I'll be doing this weekend, because...
It's
financing has been financing. So, I think all of us can take some note from anything, at least one part of what we've discussed about today on the podcast, Sammie. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Loved it.
But before I let you go, a little birdie told me you're building an app. So what the heck is going on there?
I know, we've been busy, so it's gains here.
Yeah.
I came merched up. I said, it's quite funny, I said to my mate, I would never be that person that wears his own merch. And then we got the T-shirts done. I was like, right, I found the maker of Carhartt.
Oh, of course you did. Of course you did.
I was like, who makes Carhartt T-shirts? So I got the plain ones and then got the made, because I was like, if I'm wearing them, then I want to feel like I'm pulling off some Carhartt. But, essentially, the app is basically, it's a combination of everything. We speak to people all the time about their money. Everyone's being squeezed left, right and centre. Everyone's really feeling the pinch right now. And the current landscape of finance apps in the UK don't make it easy. They're like another job added on top. And the reason being is a lot of them are glorified spreadsheets on a mobile phone.
Yeah.
And people don't want that. They want they want the visibility of their money. They want the ability to quickly look at what they are doing or what they are potentially about to do, and being able to react to it live rather than having to open an app up and write down and have the app open and your pen and paper and work out what's going on. So AI is really the way of us allowing to do that. So what we're building is the UK's first AI-powered budgeting and cashback app. Yeah, it's going to be fun. And basically what it will do is it will allow AI to look at your spending and analyze things which are going on in your life and what's important to you. So everything is hyper-personalized. We're kind of saying it's like having a financial best mate in your pocket, which doesn't judge you, but it's always going to look at the positive and the bright side. It will show you where you may have gone over, but it's not going to be like naughty. It's going to be like, you may have touched it a little bit there, but would you like us to find some room in other areas? Yes, great. And it will help you through that and find you ways of doing that. But the big part of it, as we touched on earlier, is the cashback angle and putting money directly back into your pocket from what you're already spending. And we've done a bit of research. So someone earning the average salary in the UK, the median average salary in the UK, which is 37,540, it's predicted you can save, using gains, if you used it for your everyday spending, £1,091 a year, which is weeks and weeks worth of shopping, food shopping.
That's me off to Bali.
It's you off to Bali.
Yeah.
I love it. Everyone says something different.
Yeah.
And I think that's wicked. Like, what's important to you? Put that money to it. You know, if it's the kids, it's getting them to Disneyland for the first time or putting something towards it. Like, that's the money. You're already spending it.
Yes.
So keep it.
Yeah.
And it's 250 of the biggest retailers in the country, bringing them all together in-app. It literally can all be done, and you can connect all your bank accounts or your credit cards very safely and securely, and the AI will help you manage and move and keep you more of your money.
Wow. I'm so excited. I'm not even going to lie. And yeah, I think the minute you announced that, I was just like, what the heck? I was like, this man already does so much. And now he's added an app to the mix. But look, I'm very excited for when it launches. And obviously, before I let you go, if anyone wants to firstly follow you or check up the progression of the Gains app, where can they go to do so?
So you can join the waitlist for Gains today, and we are paying for one lucky person shopping for an entire year. Food shopping.
Sign me up.
Yeah, get on there. You know, it'll be randomised winner, so it could be you, Ola. And the winner was. You're not the only one. My mum was on to me straight away. You're food shopping for a year? I was like, sure. I was like, get on the waitlist. It could be you. So jump on there. It's gainsapp.com, or if you want to come find us on socials as well, we're Up the Gains Money. And I love helping people, so come reach out, say hi.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much, Sammie, for joining me on the podcast today.
Cheers, mate.